January 3rd, 2018. Are you asleep? Those are words I only hear from Howie when he's feeling frisky. I've told him he can wake me up for that anytime. He's also one who gets annoyed if I talk in bed. I can go full steam all day and right up to bedtime and then drop dead asleep. But Howie needs time to not think so that he can sleep. Imagine my surprise when instead of him saying something silly like, "I think we have an emergency here," he says, "What do you think about telling Brittany that we won't negotiate until they have a signed deal with both Joe and Jeff?" Of course, I was fine with that. It was the obvious thing to do when on our conference call, Brittany Peet admitted that they haven't even spoken to Jeff yet. Today, Howie sent this to Brittany and Heather Hintz. Heather's our attorney. Brittany, we have had some time to reflect and feel that we need to take a different path to the effort to make an agreement, a path that was mentioned in passing in our conversation. We would like you to remove us from the current agreement, except to the extent that you make the agreement contingent upon a subsequent agreement between Big Cat Rescue Corp and the zoo parties. You pretty much know all of our thoughts from the call Monday. If you want to include the second option of PETA removing the animals, that's up to you. But Carole is not going to agree to a deal where any of the zoo parties retain an interest in the zoo land. If Joe wants to keep his home, he can have it moved to the lake property. I don't know if we talked about it anywhere else, but Joe had a piece of property that the zoo was on, and then there was a neighbor, and then on the other side of that was another piece of property that he called the lake property, but it didn't have any zoo animals. So we were saying if he wants to keep his house, he can just move it over there. Please understand that we absolutely think the world of you personally and of PETA, tremendously value the relationship, and are just thrilled with what you have accomplished in the related matter, and support this effort. But I also need you to understand this. I flew out to Oklahoma, spent a full 12 hours negotiating a settlement agreement, made concession after concession, while repeatedly having Joe fly off the handle and calming him down, spent thousands in legal fees, not just that day, but in the week following drafting that agreement, while being misled into believing that we had a deal. In the follow-up call, Jeff Lowe, who at the time was not a party and not supposed to be on the call, announced that they were reneging on the deal. When he was told that the call had to end if he stayed on, his parting comment was, "Howard, fuck you and your cunt wife." This falls squarely into the fool me once proverb. I have been working literally 10 to 12-hour days with only a half day off in the last 2 weeks, and am now rolling into our financial audit preparation, which in our small organization falls entirely on me, with continued long hours for the next month. While we work as a team, Carole is our CEO, and she feels strongly that it does not make sense to add more stress to me and spend what inevitably will be thousands of dollars in legal fees to present a draft to Joe and Jeff, only to have them, particularly Jeff, take positions that result in this being a waste of time and money. I think the outcome you seek could be a very good solution, and we are supportive. We will do what we can to help make it an arrangement that we can accept, but there are two compelling reasons for going this route. One is what I've described above. We are simply not going to risk being jerked around a second time at considerable cost, time, and money. Second, this is far more efficient. Instead of you having to get our input repeatedly and then run it through the process that I totally understand you have to engage in, you can just make your deal without another chef in the kitchen. And once you've sorted out what you can do with the zoo parties, we'll work with you on any negotiations that are necessary from there, both any changes we feel are necessary to that agreement, hopefully none, and us negotiating directly with the zoo parties what we do with the lawsuits. This will make your agreement much simpler and let you much sooner find out if there is really a serious deal. I really don't even need to see the next draft, although we'll give it a read myself if you want. But really, the next thing I want to see is something with signatures of both Joe and Jeff on it. Until then, Carole feels we have no basis for thinking any agreement can really be struck with these two, given that we think they are totally devoid of integrity or character. By the way, at the same time Joe is turning on his charm for you, we know, and please keep confidential, that he paid another $4,000 to have his singer produce a song Joe will lip-sync, claiming Carole killed her former husband. Heather, please do, however, spend whatever time is necessary to provide whatever documents or information that Corey asks for their agreement. Brittany, again, please understand we are thumbs up on working with you to accomplish this and applaud the effort. Howard Baskin, Advisory Board Chairman, Big Cat Rescue. If you're enjoying my diary, please like, share, and subscribe. You can find other ways to connect to me over at bigcatrescue.org/Carole.Baskin.